If you're part of a product team, you probably know that the product lifecycle can be daunting. That project fatigue is a silent killer for great ideas. Can we avoid this? Here's my take. When starting a new product, everybody is really excited. New ideas, new horizons, a little anxious but good vibe. However, as we drill down into the project, we all start to do busy work. Then we start to wait for each other. And as we're waiting, a lot of things change and we find a lot of the stuff we made not relevant anymore. And that's part that drives our project fatigue. If we look at a classic product lifecycle, we can see why this happens. We start with some meetings, get alignments, we send them over, get feedback, estimate budget. So if we started here, there's a gradual drop of energy as our process progresses. Basically, as high as we start, or as the more exciting the idea, it can drive us further. This is why we start all of our projects with a design sprint. Now, please don't confuse this with agile sprints, which are project management methodology. I'm talking about Google design sprints, which is a structured one-week process to create a real-looking prototype and test it with users. This process has by design a few intensive peaks, like getting everybody together for 2 full days, getting alignment on challenges, seeing a real-looking prototype, and the best is looking at real people reacting to your ideas. So if we have a high peak event at the beginning of the project, it can take us a little further before we hit the project fatigue, which is great, but not enough. In their excellent book, Power of Moments, Chip and Dan Heath talk about the necessity of designing special, significant moments into the process. The theory behind it is that the way we remember experiences is not based on the average excitement we had during the process. It is based on peaks we had along the way. For example, we don't remember the hours waiting for the Disneyland roller coaster ride. We remember the ride and the selfie we took with Mickey Mouse. Designers must think about it when they design products or services, and great designers do. Remember the sweaty monkey hand pressing the send button in MailChimp? This is a powerful design moment that is both empathetic to your current fears and humor you through it. It makes you proud you overcame a fear everybody shares of sending wrong, embarrassing messages to a mass potential client base you worked so hard to get. I think you get the drift, and I really recommend on reading this book. It will help you make much better products and make you much better designers. However, what is pretty clear when it comes to designing products and services is not so obvious when we're talking about the actual process of making them. Let's look at the life cycle of a digital product, from idea to mass distribution. Let's say an app. So we start with an idea, we do research for let's say a month, then we create a concept, quick one, 2 weeks. Hopefully we prototype it and test it with users another 2 weeks. Then if we're lean, we plan an MVP, let's say 6 months. We start to design and maybe some back-end core technology development. Then after a lot of iterations, when design is done, we can start maybe after 3 months with front-end development, and then QA, usability testing, and finally launch. After launch, we will start doing revisions, collect user feedback, add new feature, and so forth. If we draw the energy level of the teams, this will be mostly flat. Not much excitement is built into this. Moreover, some parts can be really a drop of energy. For example, tech handovers when we realize that some of our design is not realistic, or when we actually see the result of the programming and it's far away from our beautiful mock-ups. So by the time we launch, our energies are already down. And in some projects, this can create actual risk for the completion of a project, especially if you have other stuff going on in the company. So one thing I already mentioned you can do is a design sprint, which will condense the first 2 months into an intensive 1 or 2 weeks process. When we run the sprints, we make sure all of the stakeholders are part of this process and are active participants in the workshop. We include the dev team and the sales team, which will ensure that down the road they'll be more committed and help us drive the project. So we really start high, and that gives us a lot of energy moving forward. But as I mentioned, I think it's not enough, especially if our project is a little more complex and long. What we need to do is to design more peaks along the way. And here are a few ideas. Mini workshops. Create a mini workshop for each challenge and test it with users. We don't need top stakeholders for this. We can have small interdisciplinary teams from design, product, marketing, and development. And these one-day or half-day workshops can really drive your energies further. Short-term goals. Set short-term goals that have functional sense and try to fit them into your routine cycle. This will give meaning and context to the dev sprint. This can be as simple as creating an authentication process, building a search, finalizing a central feature. When a mini goal is achieved, don't let it pass by. Create an event and announce it. A good way to present it is by showing it to design partners or potential users, record the sessions, and show the video to the team. Break the script. The dev routine can be a harsh enemy, and to change it, you need to create surprises. For example, invite a surprise speaker to a team meeting, or better, invite a team member to give a short lecture about something they are interested in. You can plan this as a surprise in a review meeting or even in a daily stand-up. This can work great even if you work remotely. Periodic team reflections. Periodic team reflections are a great way to regain momentum and align the team. They are also a big risk for a very bad judgmental experience, if not run properly. I would not leave this for chance. What we use, and I find it great, is a structured workshop. Open discussion can go out of hand, waste your time, and create bad vibes. What we do is a short 40-minute session. We start with things that are working, continue with things that hold us back. We prioritize the challenges and ideate solutions for top challenges. Finally, we prioritize the solutions and assign actionable tasks. If you want to learn more about this process, we have a great video for you. I will put it in the comments below. Think beyond the launch. Launching the product is an exciting peak in your product lifecycle. But it is always the start of the journey, not the end of it. We spend a lot of energy designing and celebrating the launch, but in many cases, we neglect what comes after it, inviting ourselves into a bumming project fatigue. It's a good idea to consider the follow-up processes, to think about the next steps in our journey and design highlights for our team and for our clients. A good MVP will leave room for additions and changes. It should answer hanging questions on your business that can't be answered by a prototype. Once these questions are answered, you will probably have new questions. It's a good idea to plan a review workshop for after launch. Define a date, not long into the future, in which review will be held. This will focus the team and drive them to collect data and analyze it. In the review, you may want to go over your original MVP questions and come up with additional questions moving forward. The important thing here is to plan the event so it is noted and remembered. Remember, even if the results are not as we hoped, still there is a lot to learn, and we should be happy that we are getting all of this information. To wrap this up, I think it's really important to design your product processes and make sure you have built-in peaks. Try to break the patterns, surprise, and engage your team and include other parts of the company in your journey. A good way to start is to read the book Power of Moments, where you can get a lot of practical ideas for that. I would love to hear your ideas and how you create powerful moments in your product lifecycle. If you want to get more updates about products, innovation, and design, please subscribe to our channel and make sure you click the bell to get reminded when a new video is out. We will be here next week. Hope to see you soon. Bye.